These are the 12 contestants. They will soon be joined by either Mr. Mime or Sneasler to compete in the show. Every week, the house guest will compete to become what is called the head of household. The head of household is represented by this crown right here. The head of household, completely safe for the week, in no danger of going home. They're set. However, with that power, they must nominate 2 house guests for eviction. That is represented by this X right here, and there's another X right there. 6 contestants will compete for the power of veto, which is this. The head of household, the nominees, and contestants selected by a random draw. Whoever wins the power of veto is also safe for the entire week. However, they have the power to remove one of the nominated house guests and make them safe, in which case the head of household must replace that person with another nominee. At the end of the week, every house guest besides the head of household and the nominees will vote for one of the nominees individually. Whoever gets the most votes will be sent home. After that, they do it all over again till we have a winner. There are 2 potential house guests who can be entering the house and also compete for whatever the prize will be. We have... You get to decide between Sneasler and Mr. Mime, and there'll be a poll popping up soon. And whoever gets the most votes will be in the game. Oh my god, Mr. Mime wins! I'm gonna be fully honest. I said I was gonna be impartial, but I fully was not expecting Mr. Mime to win this. I fully expected Sneasler to run away with it, but with that, we have our 13th house guest, Mr. Mime. Because this is based off of a certain season of Big Brother that included a lot of audience participation, y'all are going to be very important to how this show plays out. As you saw, the house guests enter the house. They're ready to compete, and they notice a strange bottle in the house. No one knows what it is. No one knows what to do with it. They know that someone has to drink for it. So, Lilligant drinks from the strange bottle and is now infected with the BB bug. Lilligant must choose to infect another house guest. That house guest must infect another house guest, and will continue on, and the last person who remains uninfected will become the head of household. Our first head of household is Snorlax. Everyone say congratulations to Snorlax. Lucario and Medicham have been nominated for eviction. So let's get that. I thought about putting one next to each person, but that was just far too much on my OBS, so we're just gonna manually move them each time. Alright. Now, here's the big twist for y'all. There will not be just 2 nominees on the block every week. There will be 3, but the 3rd nominee comes from you as the audience. You will get to select the 3rd nominee, and you'll be doing that through a poll, of course. I am so sorry, Cinderace, but you are officially on the block. We have the veto competition. Obviously, Snorlax and the 3 nominees will be competing, and Snorlax has also chosen, by a random draw, Alakazam and Machamp to compete in the veto. Not only is Snorlax head of household, Snorlax also won the veto. Snorlax has used the power of veto on Medicham and has replaced them with Serena. And we have our first alliance, which is Alakazam, Gardevoir, Lilligant, Machamp, Medicham, and Snorlax. What do we think their alliance name would be? Not my simulator knowing the current Big Brother meta. So now we are on the next twist You as the audience get a collective eviction vote, and you each get to vote for one of the 3 nominees. So you will have to choose between Serena, Lucario, and Cinderace to receive 1 eviction vote. Whoever gets the most votes in this poll will officially have 1 vote against them for the eviction. Cinderace has gotten 1 vote from America. So, as we can see, Alakazam has voted for Serena, Gardevoir has voted for Lucario, Gothitelle votes for Lucario, Lilligant votes for Cinderace, Lopunny votes for Serena, Machamp votes for Lucario, Medicham votes for Serena, Mr. Mime votes for Serena, Obstagoon votes for Cinderace, and obviously Cinderace has gotten 1 vote from America. Which means, by a vote of 4-3, Serena has been evicted from the Big Brother house. So far we have the Half House Alliance. They're all at a loyalty 5 though, which means it's not a super tight alliance. Things could change at any moment. Alakazam is the new head of household. Clap if you're excited. Clap if you're excited. In addition to voting for 1 house guest to be a nominee, you also get to vote for a house guest to receive America's care package every week. And that house guest will get a unique perk every week. It'll be different each week. It could be anything. This week is the Save a Friend care package. And the winner of the care package must pick someone to be safe. They're not safe themselves, but they get to pick someone else to be safe. Whoever receives a care package is unable to receive one for the rest of the season. Well, it looks like Snorlax is our first recipient. And what does he do with it? He has given it to Machamp. So Machamp is officially immune for the entire week. Mr. Mime and Gothitelle are on the block officially, but it looks like, unfortunately for Snorlax, he is the 3rd nominee. But it's not over yet, of course. Not by a long shot. Also competing are Lilligant and Lopunny. So, Gothitelle has won the power of veto. Gothitelle uses the veto on herself, and Alakazam has replaced her with Cinderace. Oh, we have a new alliance. New alliance alert. Cinderace, Lopunny, and Mr. Mime. This is giving the Kevin, Helena, Josh alliance. I'm sorry. It really is giving that alliance. Cinderace, for the 2nd week in a row, has gotten America's vote. But he now is in alliance with Lopunny and Mr. Mime. Will that be enough to save him? We'll find out. Gardevoir has cast her vote for Cinderace. Gothitelle has voted for Mr. Mime. Lilligant votes for Cinderace. Lopunny votes for Snorlax. Lucario votes for Snorlax. Machamp votes for Cinderace. Medicham votes for Mr. Mime. Obstagoon votes for Cinderace. And of course, America votes for Cinderace. Wow. By a vote of 5-2, Cinderace has been evicted from the Big Brother house. We still have the same alliance, except, of course, the queen and her pawns are now the queen and her pawn. Machamp and Medicham's loyalty has gone down to 4, so could they be breaking off soon? And in the BB Barcode head of household competition, Mr. Mime is the new head of household, which means Lopunny is more than likely safe. Now it's time to vote who's going to win the care package. And this week's care package is the Pick a Veto. And the winner will get to choose what type of veto the winner of the veto competition will win. And that's either going to be the Diamond Veto, which allows the winner to name the replacement nominee. The Double Veto, which allows 2 house guests to win the veto. Or the Boomerang Veto, which allows the winner of the veto to use it twice. So potentially both nominees could be taken off the block. Gothitelle has won America's Care Package, and she gets to choose what type of veto will be won in the competition. She will decide later in the week. Alakazam and Gardevoir are officially on the block. And it looks like we have our third nominee. I'm sorry, Machamp, but you are America's nominee for the week. Will another member of the left side be evicted? We'll find out later. First, we have a veto to play. So, in addition to the nominees and Mr. Mime, Lopunny and Snorlax. So that is 3 weeks that Snorlax has competed in the veto. But will he win his second veto? Gardevoir has won the veto, and Gothitelle chose the Diamond Veto, which means that Gardevoir can name the replacement. Gardevoir, unsurprisingly, uses the power of veto on herself and chooses Lucario as the replacement nominee. Lopunny has left the alliance with Mr. Mime. Oh, and just formed another alliance with Medicham instead. Okay. Basically, she's ready to jump if she needs to. Alright, now y'all know the drill again. You are voting for who is going to get America's eviction vote. Our nominees are Alakazam, Lucario, and Machamp. Machamp officially has 1 vote for eviction, but will he be leaving the competition? We'll see. Gardevoir, perhaps unsurprisingly, has voted for Lucario. Gothitelle votes for Alakazam. Lilligant votes for Lucario. Lopunny votes for Machamp. Medicham votes for Lucario. Obstagoon votes for Machamp. Snorlax votes for Lucario. And of course, Machamp has America's vote for eviction. Which means, by a vote of 4-3, Lucario has been evicted from the Big Brother house. Medicham is playing both sides of the house, it seems. Can she float her way to the finale? We'll see. Oh, in the perfect shot competition, Lopunny is the new head of household for the week. Sneasler would avoid her way to a win or be out the first week. No in between. It is true. It is absolutely true. The house guest who gets the care package will get the safety servant. They must follow the commands of Big Brother all week, but in return, they will be immune from eviction. And Obstagoon has won America's Care Package. He is safe for the week. He is the Big Brother safety servant, but he has earned immunity for the week. Gothitelle and Snorlax are up for eviction. Mr. Mime is running away with this vote. Could Lopunny lose her number 1 ally on her own HOH? Who's to say? So, in addition to the head of household and 3 nominees, Obstagoon and Lilligant will also be competing. Poor Lilligant. I feel like she's getting picked to compete in all the vetoes. She just hasn't won anything. And Lopunny holds all the power of the week because she has also won the power of veto. If America's nominee does get pulled off the block, there will be no replacement. We will just have 2 nominees for eviction, going into the eviction. Oh, and as expected, she uses the power of veto on Mr. Mime, which means only Gothitelle and Snorlax will be sitting on the couches come eviction night. Snorlax has officially 1 vote for America, but will he receive the votes from his house guests? Alakazam has voted for Gothitelle. Gardevoir has voted for Gothitelle. Lilligant has also voted for Gothitelle. Machamp has voted for Gothitelle. Medicham has voted for Gothitelle. Mr. Mime has voted for Gothitelle. Obstacoon has voted for Gothitelle. And America has voted for Snorlax. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Because by a vote of 7-1, Gothitelle has been evicted from the Big Brother house. Sorry to the Gothitelle stands out there. Y'all put up a good fight. Of course, all of our alliances are going strong, but the Power Alliance is still a little uneasy, with both Machamp and Medicham unsure of their loyalty. However, the Medicham, Lopunny, Mr. Mime alliance is doing pretty solid. Basically, everyone does not like Mr. Mime and Lopunny. They are kind of on their own in the house, with plus Medicham. However, Mr. Mime has won his 2nd head of household of the season. The recipient of this pair package can eliminate 3 eviction votes in the upcoming eviction. Lopunny has won America's Care Package and receives the power to cancel 3 eviction votes. Gardevoir and Obstagoon are on the block. Well, it looks like Snorlax is America's nominee, which means Gardevoir, Obstagoon, and Snorlax are sitting on the block. In addition to the nominees and head of household, Machamp and Lopunny will also be competing in the veto. And the winner of the veto is Machamp. Machamp has used the power of veto on Gardevoir, and Alakazam, and Mr. Mime has named Alakazam as the replacement nominee, leaving Alakazam, Obstagoon, and Snorlax on the block. Well, Mavis, Machamp and Gardevoir are in the Power Alliance together. New alliance alert, new alliance alert. Gardevoir, Lopunny, and Snorlax have officially formed an alliance. Oh, I feel like we should come up with, like, names for them. Lopunny, I will say, despite not being particularly well-liked in the house, it seems, she is playing a great social game. It is now time for the live vote and eviction. It looks like Snorlax has received America's eviction vote, but will it be enough to get him out of the house? Lopunny has used her power to cancel the votes of Lilligant, Machamp, and Gardevoir. So, with that being said, Lopunny has voted to evict Alakazam. Medicham votes to evict Obstagoon. And America has voted for Snorlax. Y'all know what this means. We have a 3-way tie, which means the head of household must decide who to evict. And that house guest is Obstagoon has been evicted from the Big Brother house. Woo. What a messy week. Could you imagine that, like, actually happening on, like, a live show? And in the Big Brother over the top freshman class, the head of household competition, Snorlax takes it. For the second time this season, Snorlax is the new head of household. Lilligant is in her flop era. The winner of the care package will be head of household alongside Snorlax, and they each will pick one house guest to nominate for eviction. That is a very powerful care package. Gardevoir has won America's Care Package and will be a second HOH. I didn't make a second one, but let's just copy and paste this. Snorlax has saved Alakazam. Frank, you'll be glad to hear. And Gardevoir has saved Medicham. Snorlax has saved Lilligant. And Gardevoir has saved Lopunny. Which means Machamp and Mr. Mime are officially nominated. And Snorlax nominated Mr. Mime, while Gardevoir nominated Machamp, the same person who saved her last week. These are the only 4 eligible house guests to receive America's nomination. It does look like Medicham will be going on the block next to Mr. Mime and Machamp. There will be a double eviction. There will be a double eviction. So Alakazam has been selected to participate in the veto, in addition to the 2 head of households and the 3 nominees. And the winner of the power of veto is Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime, of course, used the veto on himself. Snorlax, as the one who nominated Mr. Mime, has replaced him with Lopunny, which means Lopunny, Machamp, and Medicham are on the block. Is this the end for the Lopunny Mr. Mime power duo? You want to vote Medicham? I mean, that's true. Sometimes it's not about who you want out. It's more about who you want in, who you want to stay in the house, more so than who you want out of the house. Machamp has gotten America's vote. Alakazam has cast his vote for Lopunny. Lilligant has voted for Lopunny. Mr. Mime has voted for Machamp. And America has voted for Machamp, which of course means we're on another tie. Snorlax has the deciding vote, and by a vote of 3-2, Lopunny has been evicted from the Big Brother house. I think she girl bossed a little too close to the sun. In the veto competition, the head of household that performed the best would be the one to vote in the eviction. Lilligant floater of the season. Well, Medicham has... Well, Lilligant has been coasting. Medicham has been floating, like, executing the floater strategy, I fear. Medicham is very effectively, it seems, doing the floater strategy of bouncing between sides, while Lilligant is coasting. There's a very, like... This is something I'm very passionate about when it's talking about Big Brother. There is a difference between floating and coasting in Big Brother. And as much as Floaters Grab a Life Vest is iconic, it kind of ruined the floating terminology, because floating is a very valid and effective strategy as portrayed by someone like June in Big Brother 4. While people like Lilligant, they're just coasting their way through. They're not, like, floaters actively play the game, while coasters don't. Anyways, let's see. So, of course, we still have our Power Alliance. of Alakazam, Gardevoir, Machamp, Medicham, and Snorlax. Although Lilligant seems kind of shaky in the alliance. Her loyalty is now a 4 along with Machamp. But Medicham's loyalty has gone up as well. Former Lopunny involved alliances, both Medicham and Mr. Mime and Gardevoir and Snorlax, those both seem pretty solid. Lilligant and Gardevoir do not like each other. Alakazam is the new head of household and is safe for another week. Not the Quack Pack. There is not a veto competition. The care package recipient will receive the power of veto. So, keep that in mind. Apparently they're doing this before the nomination ceremony, which is interesting. And the care package recipient is... Ooh. Alakazam has received America's care package. Snorlax, Lilligant, and Gardevoir are safe, meaning Machamp and Mr. Mime have been nominated for eviction. And because this is a double eviction, there will be no America's nominee. Of course, naturally, Alakazam does not use the power of veto. Alright, time for the vote and eviction. Gardevoir has voted for Mr. Mime. Lilligant has voted for Mr. Mime. Medicham has voted for Machamp. Snorlax has voted for Mr. Mime. Which means, by a vote of 3-1, Mr. Mime has been evicted from the Big Brother house. And unfortunately, the power duo of the house has been eliminated. Although, if you'll notice, the Power Alliance are the remaining house guests. So, were they really running the house? Or were they outplayed? Snorlax. Comp Beast Snorlax has won his third HOH of the season. But now that the Alliance is in power, who will he nominate? So, Alakazam and Medicham are safe, and Lilligant is safe, meaning Gardevoir and Machamp have officially been nominated for eviction. Gardevoir, Machamp, and Lilligant are officially on the block. The winner of the power veto is Gardevoir. Of course, Gardevoir uses it on herself, and Snorlax has replaced her with Medicham, meaning Medicham, Lilligant, and Machamp are the final nominees. And Medicham has officially left the Alliance. Unfortunately, how will this bear on the upcoming eviction vote? Is Medicham doomed? We shall find out. Alright, it looks like with 71% of the vote, Machamp has received America's eviction vote. But, how will the house guests vote? Gardevoir and Alakazam have both voted for Medicham, while America has voted for Machamp, which means by a vote of 3-1, Medicham has been evicted from the Big Brother house. The coaster beat the floater. Okay, who will be winning head of household this week and securing their spot in the top 4? That person is Machamp. The winner participates in a challenge. If he or she passes, the house guests will be guaranteed Safety to the Final Four. I would say we would vote on it, but there's only one eligible option for the care package. So congratulations, Lilligant. But true to her in the competition, she fails the challenge. So, with that being said, now let's see who Machamp nominates. Gardevoir and Lilligant are both safe, meaning Alakazam and Snorlax have been nominated for eviction. Because we're only at 5, there will only be 2 nominees on the block from this point moving on. She's giving Cindy with an S energy. I mean, she's made it a lot farther than Cindy with an S ever did on Big Brother. Of course, all 5 house guests will be competing in the veto, but we need to see who wins. Are they holding hands? They are holding hands. The winner of this week's veto is Snorlax. And as expected, Snorlax uses the veto on himself, and Machamp has replaced his nomination with Gardevoir. Alright. Lilligant and Snorlax have both voted for Gardevoir, meaning by a vote of 2-0, Gardevoir has been evicted from the Big Brother house. And now it is time to see who wins the head of household. Can Lilligant win her first competition of the summer, or will the comp beasts Alakazam and Snorlax take it? And Alakazam is the new head of household. Of course, Snorlax is safe from and is in the top 3. There would be a competition to win safety in the house between Lilligant and Machamp. Machamp wins the competition, meaning Lilligant has been evicted from the Big Brother house. Well, we did it. We are at the final 3. We're at the finale. This is it. You will all be deciding the winner of Pokemon Big Brother Season 1. Alakazam has won 3 head of households. Machamp has won 1 head of household and 1 power veto each. Snorlax has won 3 head of households and 2 power of vetoes. My votes are locked in. Obviously, Machamp is finished in 3rd, and the winner of Big Brother Pokemon, the first season of Pokemon Big Brother, is Snorlax. Somebody called Topaz. And with that, we have the first season of Pokemon Big Brother in the books. Not how I expected it at all. Here's our shakedown. Remember these? Remember them? What a dramatic season though. Like all the twists and turns and the 2 tie votes in a row. Obviously, Snorlax got the most comp wins, followed shortly by Alakazam, Mr. Mime and Machamp, Gardevoir, Lopunny, and Gothitelle. Alakazam has the most HOH wins, followed by Snorlax, Mr. Mime. There was not a lot of HOH diversity this season, which I found very interesting, if a little, not exciting. Gardevoir actually tied for the most POV wins alongside Snorlax. Gardevoir was saved the most times with veto, while Machamp was nominated the most times. Cinderace has received the most votes, followed by Gothitelle, Lucario, and Machamp. That unanimous Gothitelle vote really was surprising. Thank you all for having so much fun with me. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, some kinks along the road, it's my first time doing something like this, so it was kind of a learning curve, but I had a lot of fun. I really did have a lot of fun with it. And thank you all for having fun with me.